From the David Moss Volkswagen Lee Road Traffic Center, westbound I-4 is pretty heavy now, just a little west of Lake Mary Boulevard. And we're also very slow approaching 434 into Maitland Boulevard. Eastbound I-4 thickens up right around John Young Parkway, and you're also sluggish from Cayley Avenue through downtown. Westbound along the 408 is very slow from the Dean Road Toll Plaza into Goldenrod. We are in good shape along 528 and the Turnpike. From the Traffic Center, I'm Courtney Bright.
Traffic on Air Online, a service of StarTron Enzyme Fuel Treatment. Ethanol fuel is horrible. It makes lawn equipment hard to start and run rough. But it's not the engine, it's the fuel. StarTron Enzyme Fuel Treatment cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems in all engines. Go to StarTron.com or find StarTron on Facebook for a dealer near you.
Dog bite? On your cell phone, dial Pound Law, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
From 540 WFLA, Orlando's 24-hour weather channel. As a cold front approaches, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Could have a strong storm popping up in the afternoon. High temperature, low 90s. Any showers or storms this evening will end overnight, low around 70. Weather's update around the clock on 540 WFLA. I'm meteorologist Ed Levy from the Weather Channel.
Score with 540 WFLA Sports.
The Tampa Bay Lightning completed an incredible comeback last night in Pittsburgh.
The Lightning have done it! It is over! It's over! The Lightning have won it in 7 games!
The voice of the Lightning, Dave Mishkin, on 740 the game last night. Dwayne Rollison made 36 saves to record the shutout, and Sean Bergenheim scored the only goal of the game as the Lightning beat the Penguins 1-0 to win their third straight game after falling behind 3-1 in this series. Next up for the Lightning will be the Washington Capitals in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Magic hope to follow the Lightning's lead. They trail the Atlanta Hawks 3-2. Heading into Game 6 tonight, they're trying to come back from a 3-1 deficit. Forward Ryan Anderson expects high intensity from the Hawks tonight.
They're going to bring everything they can. I mean, they have pressure on them now. I mean, because if we win, we're going to come back and they're going to have to play in this environment again, and that's not going to be what they want.
Tonight's game tips off at 7:30. The Magic need a win tonight to force a Game 7 in Orlando Saturday. Despite an NFL lockout, the league will hold its annual draft tonight. The Dolphins will have the 15th selection in the first round, the Jaguars the 16th, and the Bucks the 20th. That's your sports update. I'm Tom Morgan on your Gator Nation station, 540 WFLA.
This is Bud Henninger Live.
They proved themselves worthy of the traditions behind them.
On 540 WFLA.
And equal to whatever tasks were ahead of them.
8:05 on a Thursday morning means a house call from my heart doctor, Ken Cronhouse from Lake Cardiology, with a bag full of breaking health and medical news. Doc, good morning. Right in your wheelhouse, a couple of pieces of research on the heart front here. Now, you've got me on fish oil, and I've always thought that's about the healthiest thing you can possibly take, but apparently not in all cases. What can you tell us? Mm-hmm. Whoa. So should I go home and flush all my fish oil down the toilet? What do you now recommend? Whoa. No. And when they start sprouting gills, it's even worse. My goodness, that is a shocker. And also on the heart front, it must drive you crazy as a cardiologist when you get conflicting studies, and we've got confusion, and so it is today. Mm-hmm. Very, very important stuff. Thanks. I appreciate that. Also, we don't want to have x-rays any more often than we absolutely need them, radiation concerns, etc. And there's a study here that indicates that in certain cases you may not need a chest x-ray when you think perhaps you would. We talk all the time about the scourge of bullying, and there's all kinds of research out there, and you have some new research this morning as we try to get to the bottom of how people become bullies, and let's talk about it. Oh, yeah. So you're saying that victims also of bullying may experience violence at home. I wouldn't have thought it would be the victims. Wow. Let me skip down to the story about aspirin, which we think seems to be the miracle drug. Such a simple thing that seems to be good for everything, but not necessarily. Whoa. Okay. And finally, Botox. A lot of folks use it to kind of knock out facial wrinkles, but apparently it can paralyze more than your facial muscles. It has some impacts emotionally. Oh, no kidding, because you can't use the facial muscles. How about that? And that's our house call from my Dr. Ken Kronhaus, available to you at Lake Cardiology with his incredible staff, home of the Bud Scan that saved my life. 352-735-1400, 352-735-1400. And if you can't get enough of Doc on the radio, you're just like the Bud Man. He's on for 2 hours every Sunday afternoon with an incredible show from 2 and 4 p.m. On 540 WFLA. It is Good Day Health with Dr. Ken. Good day to you, Doc. Thanks so much. Okay, I appreciate that. Now, Doc doesn't think much of Obamacare. We've had him on that before. You would think if any doctor would love Obamacare, it would be one of Obama's relatives. Well, you're about to find out. Not necessarily so. Barack Obama's cousin, who's a doctor, next on Obamacare. He's live with the Budman. It's 8:12 now, checking real-time traffic and weather together on the twos.
From the David Moss Volkswagen Lee Road Traffic Center, seeing our usual delays eastbound along I-4 from Michigan Street through downtown, easing up just before Colonial Drive. And we're also very slow westbound along I-4 just before 434, easing up before Maitland Boulevard. Still sluggish westbound along the 408 from the Greenway into Goldenrod. Do watch out for a reported accident that may slow you down along US 192 in between Parton Settlement Road and the Turnpike. From the Traffic Center, I'm Courtney Bright.
From 540 WFLA Orlando's 24-hour weather channel. As a cold front approaches, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Could have a strong storm popping up in the afternoon. High temperature, low 90s. Any showers or storms this evening will end overnight, low around 70. Weather's update around the clock on 540 WFLA. I'm meteorologist Ed Levy from the Weather Channel.
And there we go. Hey, have you been out to Lucas Nursery? Mother's Day is coming up. You need to get all of your flowers for Mom and get the place all spruced up inside and out. And there is no place like Lucas Nursery to do that in advance of Mother's Day. As a matter of fact, take Mom out there and wander through acre after acre of everything that grows so beautifully and so spectacularly at the one and only Lucas Nursery. They've been working the same land for 4 generations. Phil and Sarah Lucas and the rest of the family and the staff, they're ready to help you. They're so knowledgeable and so friendly. It is such a special place. And don't forget to take Mom to the incredible indoor butterfly encounter and take the whole family as well. You'll never forget it. Lucas Nursery, worth the drive from absolutely anywhere. There's no place like Lucas Nursery off the 417 Redbug exit, corner of Slavia and Aloma. Online, lucasnursery.com. That's L-U-K-A-S, nursery.com.
Traffic on air online, brought to you by Chevron with Techron. Every day, your car takes care of you, helping you maneuver through all that traffic. Take care of it. Don't use low-quality gasoline that can leave crud on vital engine parts. Use the gas that cleans. Chevron with Techron. Care for your car.
Look at that beautiful lagoon pool.
How about the children's pool and water slide?
Look at the parents relaxing.
The kids playing and laughing.
A family vacation where dreams do come true.
At timesharesbyowner.com.
Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing better now that I'm talking to you.
Good.
The first thing I'd like to say, Mark, is I definitely appreciate your spending your time to be on the air to talk to people like me.
Justice for All with Mark Nation, Saturdays at 1.
Here's another question from the Geico Savings Mailbag.
Trent from Springfield writes, if you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would you choose?
Well, I'm tempted to say a celebrity chef, just because the dinner would be so tasty. But, no, my heart tells me I'd most enjoy an evening with my favourite local Geico agents. We'd talk late into the night about saving people money on their car insurance.
Ooh, sounds like a party.
Mm-hmm. And then we'd each head home even prouder to help save people lots of money on their car insurance.
If I could have dinner with anyone, I'd choose you.
Oh, mate. Oh, I feel bad now. How about Friday?
Saving money is a lot closer than you think. Your local Geico agent can help you with all your insurance needs. Stop by or call for a free rate quote today.
Your local Geico office can help you insure more than just your car. They can help you with your motorcycle, boat, renters, and other insurance products. For a free rate quote, call 407-897-7157 today. That's 407-897-7157. Or visit your local Geico office at 5005 East Colonial Drive in Orlando.
You get up early. You work late. Weekends off? Not likely. Why? Because as a small business owner, it's more than your job. It's what you love. And you need technology that keeps pace with your passion. That's why Verizon delivers all the wireless solutions you need to make sure your business rules. Verizon technology gives you the power to enable growth and boost productivity. Because only Verizon offers an arsenal of advanced devices, powerful business apps, and mobile security safeguards, all backed by unrivaled customer support and the fastest, most advanced 4G network in America. More small businesses choose Verizon Wireless than any other wireless carrier because they know the small business with the best technology rules. Now get the lightning fast Thunderbolt by HTC for only $249.99. No rebate required, exclusively at Verizon. Visit any Verizon store, verizonwireless.com/smallbusiness, or call 1-800-BZW-4BIZ. Requires new tier activation and data pack. Early termination and other fees apply. Preference results based on third-party study.
You're struggling with your weight? Do you want to find the answer? Don't give up. If I can lose 75 pounds in 6 months on the Medifast weight control program at my Medifast Center with help from my Medifast counselor, you can do it too. This is a program developed by doctors, recommended by 20,000 doctors, including mine, over the last 20 years, and 30 years, as a matter of fact. And at your Medifast Center, you can lose up to 2 to 5 pounds a week. It's incredible. Believe me, don't give up on the battle of the bulge, because you need to lose the weight. It's not healthy being overweight. I was overweight for too many years. It's not healthy. Get the weight off. You'll look better. You'll feel better than you have in years. I have nothing but great things to say about the Medifast program, and I had tried all the others. I want you to call your Medifast Center today, and if you do, you're going to get $100 off any program fee upon enrollment. It all starts with a call to your Medifast Center. New locations in Lake Mary and Winter Park to join the one down on Sand Lake Road. Convenient to everybody. Call 1-888-9-MEDIFAST. 1-888-9-MEDIFAST. One more time, I want you to call today and get started. You can do this. 1-888-9-MEDIFAST. Online, medifastflorida.com.
This is Bud Henninger Live.
It does help to maintain the moral and physical health of the community.
On 540 WFLA.
Polls continue to show a lot of Americans have very serious problems with Obamacare. And it isn't making the headlines quite like it was, because now we're embroiled in this whole debate about the debt ceiling and the deficits, etc. But this is the centerpiece of the Obama administration, this revolution in health care, with government right smack in the middle of it between you and your doctor. Now, you might think that if any doctor would be a staunch defender of Obamacare, it would be a relative of President Obama. Well, in the case of Dr. Milton Wolfe, who is the president's second cousin, a radiologist in Kansas, you'd be absolutely wrong. Dr. Wolfe, welcome to Bud Henninger Live. Thanks for coming on the show this morning.
Greetings from the only Tea Partier Barack Obama actually knows. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much. And without getting into the specifics of it, you're a second cousin once removed, tied to the president through his mother's side of the family, right?
That's right. And you'll recall his mother was an only child, so he actually does not have any first cousins, at least here in America. And so other than his sister, my family is his closest relatives here in the States.
Well, I'm a big Tea Party guy, and we got a big Tea Partier following Bud Henninger Live on this show, and you have spoken out against Obamacare at Tea Party rallies across this country, even though you're related to the president. Your problems as we speak with Obamacare.
You know, I don't have any personal problems with Barack. I think he's a caring person, and I think he means well. I think he just profoundly misunderstands the greatness of America. He believes our greatness is found in our big government institutions, our bureaucracies, our regulations. I believe our greatness is found in our founding principles of limited government, of individual liberty, and of the free market. And no better is this illustrated than in Obamacare. Now, look, I'm a doctor. I don't like to necessarily spend my whole day discussing health care policy, but they've chosen this as a battlefield for America's liberty, and it's important that we engage them. And at the core of Obamacare, the real problem, the fundamental flaw, is that Obamacare reflects that these big government types trust government to spend your money more wisely than you can spend it yourself.
Now, President Obama would say, well, wait a minute, Milton. All I'm trying to do here is to bring down the cost of health care and make it more widely available.
Such a noble goal, and if you look at the miserable track record our government has over the last 80 years of intervening with health care, every time they've set that out as a goal and then enacted some law, they've made health care more expensive and less accessible. Obamacare is a doubling down of these failures.
I'd like you to flesh that out in 1 minute, if you will. President Obama's second cousin, Dr. Milton Wolfe, with the Budman. Don't miss this interview as we continue in 60 seconds. Stepping out for real-time traffic and weather together at 8:22, updated on the twos as always.
From the David Moss Volkswagen Lee Road Traffic Center, seeing our usual delays eastbound along I-4 from Michigan Street through downtown, easing up just before Colonial Drive. And we're also very slow westbound along I-4 just before 434, easing up before Maitland Boulevard. Still sluggish westbound along the 408 from the Greenway into Goldenrod. Do watch out for a reported accident that may slow you down along US 192 in between Parton Settlement Road and the Turnpike. From the Traffic Center, I'm Courtney Bright.
Thanks, Courtney. We're looking at sunshine this morning, but this afternoon a front barrel's down on us, and we're looking for showers and maybe some thunderstorms. A few could be severe, so be on the lookout. Stay tuned to 540 WFLA all day for continuous updates on the twos. And we're looking at 92 for the highs, 77 already here on a sultry morning in Central Florida. Back on the line live with Barack Obama's second cousin, radiologist Dr. Milton Wolfe, who is a spokesman across this country, Tea Party rallies and wherever else he can get people's ear against the president's health care reform law, Obamacare. Continue, Doc.
You know, I've been a Republican all my life, but not always a proud Republican, because my party has been just as guilty as the Democrats when it's come to intervening in our health care, making things more expensive. And this has been, unfortunately, the 80-year history of government in health care. When you compare different areas of our economy, say the areas where the government is most involved, like health care, food supply, energy supply, higher education, that is where our inflation is. That is where the costs are through the roof. Now compare that to something like consumer electronics, where the government is relatively uninvolved. There we see prices falling and quality improving. We're scared to buy a new electronic piece of equipment because we know tomorrow it will cost less or be better. Now, we could have that same benefit in healthcare, and in fact, in the areas of healthcare where we allow the free market to work, areas like LASIK eye surgery or cosmetic surgery, indeed, prices are going down, patient satisfaction is going up, quality of care is going up. The free market works.
Let me talk with you about the move to repeal Obamacare. It is part of the Paul Ryan budget plan, the health care reform aspect of it. Does Obamacare need to be repealed?
Obamacare will not survive, and either we will have the courage to take it down. Listeners in your audience will get engaged, like you said, in the Tea Party and forcing their candidates to do what's right. But Obamacare will not survive, and either we'll take it down or it will collapse under its own weight. But if we wait until it does that, it will take our American economy down with it.
What course of action are you calling for then?
We need more good people like Paul Ryan or Michelle Bachmann in the House, or Marco Rubio and Rand Paul in the Senate to have the courage to fight against this thing. But the bottom line is we're going to have to elect a lot more of these. And we have an election coming up next year that will determine the fate of our country. We're going to have to decide who we want as a president and whether we want someone who will believe in our founding principles of limited government, or who will try to turn us into a second-class European-style social welfare state.
Dr. Milton Wolfe is the second cousin of President Barack Obama. We're talking about Obamacare. He's completely opposed to it on so many levels. But let me ask you this. You're a Tea Party guy just as I am. The latest poll shows 70% of the Tea Partiers are opposed to Paul Ryan's Medicare reform plans. How do you reconcile that? If you're a Tea Partier, you want smaller government and less spending. Well, that's what the Ryan plan is all about, but there's a disconnect here.
I would urge my Tea Party friends to think of Paul Ryan's budget as a floor rather than a ceiling. We've got a long ways to go. And Paul Ryan has put forward what I think is the first serious budget that I can remember in a long time. Of course, he wants to block grant a lot of these things and give the power to the states, like we've done in other areas like welfare, and it worked. When we did that, Tommy Thompson in Wisconsin, you'll recall, had some innovative ideas, and later we turned that into our national policy in 1996. And we did one of the most effective things we could have done for welfare based on that. And I think Paul Ryan sees the future and understands that. I suspect he'd like to go a lot further than he thinks he could in this first budget, but it's a good starting point.
Dr. Milton Wolfe, I only have 1 minute left right now. Barack Obama's second cousin, a doctor or radiologist in Kansas who was vehemently opposed to the Obamacare health care law. I've got 1 minute for your closing thoughts and a way for folks to connect with you.
I got to tell you, this week, if you want to send a message to the White House, this week my book, First Do No Harm, is outselling Barack Obama's book on the Amazon Kindle store. They take notice. This is an exciting, it's called Voices of the Tea Party. It's a modern-day pamphleteering movement. You can learn a little bit about that at broadsidebooks.net. And this is a set of books for their e-books. They pack a punch. They're only $1.99 retail. They are for Tea Partiers by Tea Partiers, and a way to get yourself informed and armed with information and get engaged as an effective citizen.
Safe to say that you're not going to be a guest at Thanksgiving dinner at the Obama White House?
You know, I think at best I'll be placed at the children's table.
I don't think you're getting in the door. All right, Dr. Milton Wolfe, thanks for coming on Bud Hedinger Live. Appreciate the good work you do. Thank you so much.
Before all this is said and done, Barack and I are going to need our own beer summit.
I have no doubt. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. Interesting stuff there. How about that? The president's own relatives don't like his Obamacare plan. 407-916-5400 if you want to comment on what Dr. Milton Wolfe has to say about his cousin's health care plan. Toll free, 1-866-916-5400. Much to come. A half an hour to go. News updated at the bottom of the hour as always. Michelle Murillo's coming right up on that. Good morning. It's 8:28.
The car of your dreams is now within your reach, literally. Take a look at that little blue OnStar button right up there on your rearview mirror. Well, now when you push it, you could be one of 10 people to win the Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or Cadillac of your choice. You don't even have to be a current OnStar customer. Just push your blue OnStar button, stay on the line to talk to an advisor, and you're eligible to win. Imagine yourself cruising down the boulevard in your Inferno orange Chevrolet Corvette, pulling up to work in a Cadillac CTS coupe, turning heads in your stylish new Buick LaCrosse, treading responsibly in the backcountry in your GMC Yukon Hybrid. The choice is yours. The OnStar Push-On Sweepstakes. Your dream car at the push of a button. There's no obligation. Just reach up and push it now. Sweeps exclude Chevrolet Volt. No purchase necessary. Visit OnStar.com for rules and alternate entry details. Void where prohibited. Ends May 31st, 2011. Must be 18 years of age or age of majority and U.S. or Canadian legal resident. Limit 3 entries per person regardless of entry method. But only one blue OnStar button pushed per vehicle.
What do you know about Goodwill? Probably that we're a good cause, and you can donate clothes and household items to our stores. Did you know donations fund programs to help people find jobs and get back on their feet? The more you donate, the more folks we can help. Goodwill is also a great place to shop. We have everything from sewing machines to designer jeans at really affordable prices. Try on merchandise in dressing rooms, pay for it with credit cards, and return it if you're not satisfied, just like any retail store. Discover all the good that's in Goodwill. Goodwill, good cause, good effect.
Uncover Alaska and the Great Northwest with YMT Vacations and 540 WFLA listeners. It is truly a wonderland. Your adventure starts in Salt Lake City. Encounter the natural beauty of Big Sky Country, Wyoming, including Yellowstone National Park, and Montana. Then in Vancouver, you'll board Holland America's 5-star luxury liner, the MS Oosterdam, and cruise the Inside Passage to Ketchikan, the salmon capital of the world. Juneau, Sitka, Victoria, and spectacular Glacier Bay. The guaranteed lowest price for 540 WFLA listeners to Alaska and the Great Northwest from only $16.99 per person plus tax. Includes cruise, hotels, and so much more. Call 800-922-9000 for a free brochure. In 1867, Americans laughed at Seward's folly. 2 cents an acre to purchase Alaska from Russia. Well, it's time to discover Alaska with YMT Vacations. The best deal since Seward's. 800-922-9000. That's 800-922-9000.
Bud Hedinger Live continues with news from the Fox Orlando News Center on 540 WFLA.
Chemotherapy.
From the David Moss Volkswagen Lee Road Traffic Center, westbound I-4 is very slow, approaching 434, easing up just before Maitland Boulevard. And seeing our usual delays in the eastbound direction from OBT through downtown. Not doing too badly here, but we are pretty slow. Also sluggish westbound along the 408 from the Greenway into Goldenrod. And authorities are on scene of a wreck that may slow you down along US 192 in between Parton Settlement Road and the Turnpike. Reports of roadblock through this area. From the Traffic Center, I'm Courtney Bright.
Traffic on Air Online, a service of the Florida Lottery. Wish you had 700 grand? The new Lucky 7 raffle from the Florida Lottery may grant it to you. There are over 777 cash prizes. Tickets are only $10, but they're limited, and the drawing is May 5th. So acquire your Lucky 7 raffle ticket today because time is running out.
Brakes, squeaking, or grinding? ZembauersAutoCenter.com.
From 540 WFLA Orlando's 24-hour weather channel, strong, even severe thunderstorms may rumble across the area this afternoon, along with a cold front. Temperatures low 90s. Strong storms this evening, clearing overnight, 70 for the low, mid-80s, partly sunny Friday. Weather's update around the clock on 540 WFLA. I'm meteorologist Ed Levy from the Weather Channel.
They are sharing in the vigilance of the free world.
Now, more Bud Henninger live on 540 WFLA.
8:35 here on the Thursday edition of BHL. So what did you think of my interview with Barack Obama's cousin, the doctor, and ultimately opposed to Obamacare? 407-916-5400. I'd been familiar with Milton Wolf. He is very articulate, and he is very passionate, and he is a big time Tea Party guy. So we wanted to bring him on right now because I don't want us to lose sight of all of the Obamacare-related issues that are out there that have really been relegated to the back burner right now because we're coming up, to the edge of the cliff with the debt and the deficit, the debt ceiling vote, etc. It's going to be a huge story we're going to be talking about a lot next week here on BHL. But that was fascinating, at least for me, and I always hope it is for you. I don't do interviews here for me. I do them for you, and it was really interesting, as it always is, to hear a doctor, but particularly a cousin of the president, assess Obamacare. And Dr. Milton Wolf, frankly, doesn't have a single good thing to say about it. But it was interesting that he said that he thinks Barack Obama is a caring guy and a good guy. He's just got it wrong. That government, Barack Obama says, is the answer to everything, health care included. And Dr. Wolf says he could not be more wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting. I usually when something like this happens, you get the feel of like an angry family member is just trying to cash in on something. He's not like that. It was very fascinating. He's a very smart guy, obviously being a doctor, and he had a lot to say, and it was a very educated, well thought out, argument against Obamacare, and the fact that it is coming from a family member makes it even that much more compelling.
Absolutely true, and he was a big-time spokesman right at the point where Obamacare was about to be jammed down our throats. He was at Tea Party rallies all across this country. If you go to YouTube.com and you just put in Dr. Milton Wolf, you'll see him speaking at Tea Party rallies, and this guy makes a lot of sense. Here is Susan in Orlando at 8:37. Good morning, Susan. Thanks for the call. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Bud. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I wanted to talk about health care in this state and how we can increase competition to drive down costs. There's a couple of recommendations on the table that our legislators are ignoring, and one of them is to utilize optometrists and nurse practitioners to their full extent and to introduce some competition in order to drive down costs.
Now, how do we use them in a way that we're not using them to our advantage? What do we need to do?
Currently, they're not allowed to practice at their full scope of education and training like they are in the rest of the country.
No kidding. I didn't realize that.
That's right. So we need to remove those restrictions on them. And this was actually recommended by an OPAGA report in December, and that it would save the state almost $500 million a year, with about $100 million of that going to Medicaid.
Well, now let me ask you a question. Let's take optometrists, eye docs right now. What are they restricted from doing that you feel they're fully qualified to do?
Well, in 48 other states, they're fully qualified to prescribe oral medications that would treat eye conditions. Now, in Florida, they're limited to only eye drops and ointments, but 48 other states don't have that. And the problem with this is people who need those medications are sent to the ER to get the medications, and that drives up the health cost.
Got it. So why do we do that in Florida? Why do we do it differently? If there were benefits to be had here, what's the deal? Has somebody got a lobby going?
Somebody has a lobby going. There's a very strong organized medical lobby against this, frankly, because they're afraid of the competition.
Got it. Understand the point you're making. Competition always does nothing but drive costs down. Thanks, Susan. James in Orlando. Good morning, James.
Hey, good morning, Bud. Thanks for taking my phone
My
call.
pleasure. What's on your mind?
Well, I just think the Republicans have a horrible PR campaign, and I think that if we were to break it down as the Tea Party has broken down what's going wrong with the government and have small business owners, for example, a sign owner say, listen, if Obamacare passes, my medical costs to cover my 5 employees goes up by $1,500 a month. Which
Hey, it's already passed, James.
Well, you know what I'm saying, do more examples, case studies of actual impacted business owners once it finally goes into effect and they actually have paying. So if we were to show sign owners, realtors, individual landscapers, say how much it's going to cost them, then we can actually say, listen, it's going to affect everything, and it's going to drive up the cost of everything else as consumers. We just don't have any case studies or somebody going out there. So
Well, we've lost you. Thank you. We got a lightning strike out there, Jeff. It looks like bright blue sky. Did he just get zapped?
Is he okay?
Jeez, I don't know. He's gone. That's a little scary. My goodness, appreciate it, and point well taken. You're never going to be able to repeal Obamacare as long as you have the president of the United States by the name of Barack Obama. He'll have to be gone before you can repeal it because he'll veto any effort to do it, assuming you could get it past the Democrat-controlled Senate, which is what we still have, which is why the 2012 election is so absolutely critical. What can be done from the House, where the purse strings are, is to defund elements of Obamacare and take it apart brick by brick. That can be done now, and that needs to be done. To Leesburg and Mario. Good morning, Mario.
Morning, Bud.
So you listened to Barack Obama's cousin on Obamacare. What'd you think?
I think he, just like a lot of other Republicans, are just out to destroy the president.
Boy, it doesn't sound like it. As Jeff was pointing out, he didn't seem to have any particular animosity toward the president. He gave him props right off the top as a caring guy.
That's just what happens. You guys try to go after the guy in terms of, like, everything that he does. Healthcare is not right. He doesn't have his birth certificate. What's next?
What is it that you love about Obamacare?
The guy is trying to actually solve an issue, that what Republicans refused to try to solve in the previous administration.
Let me ask you a question about the birth certificate. He came forth finally, coughed it up yesterday, the long form. What's your thinking? Because we talked about it earlier, and I'm going back to that story as we charge toward 9 o'clock here, Mario. What do you think?
I actually think you owe the president an apology because you and Jerome Corsey pushed the issue here in Central Florida when you interviewed him, I think earlier last year when he was out with his book. You had him on your show. I think you and Mr. Corsey owe the president an apology.
Why do I have to apologize to the president?
You kind of
about what?
Because you brought the guy on your show and you were kind of, promoting the whole idea that the guy with the birth certificate movement here in Central Florida.
I've only done a very few shows on this. I think it was a simple thing that he should have answered and gotten out there a long time ago. Then everybody would be able to move on, and he didn't do it. And I was critical of that. We can't have somebody who's the president if he's constitutionally ineligible for the job. That is a legitimate issue. Now, the president has now, and thank you, Mario, the president has now released the long-form birth certificate. We're going to be talking about that as we move toward the 9 o'clock hour, and you're going to hear from the president. Why did he wait so long? Why did he do it now? Who's the winner in this? President Obama now, or Donald Trump, who smoked him out? And is there a tinge of racism in everyone who criticizes this president on the birth certificate issue or any other issue? We've been talking about it this morning. 407-916-5400. Now, you tell me. Are you satisfied? The birth certificate's out. Stay tuned as we continue. Boy, I'll be tooling around town in the absolute lap of luxury today, driving that Acura RL sedan, jet black beauty from my friends at Fountain Acura. There's no sedan like it I've ever driven. Pure luxury, command of the road, every option you can imagine, and a terrific price, too, and head-turning styling. That's the Acura RL. Go check it out at Fountain Acura, and also their top-of-the-line 7-passenger SUV, the Acura MDX, both of them at Fountain right now. Brand new ones you can pick up with financing rates as low as 0.9%. If you're already driving an Acura, you know how fabulous they are. How'd you like to upgrade the Acura you're driving to a brand new version of the same model with no money down and a similar monthly payment? They can make it happen for you, I feel sure. Check them out at Fountain Acura. You're going to love this place, and you're going to love the cars and the people you're dealing with. South OBT, just south of the Florida Mall. The website is fountainacura.com. To the phones on the president's birth certificate. You're going to hear from Barack and Whoopi, too, so stay with me. Hey, here's a can't-miss Budman recommendation for lunch today. For you, someone special in your life, maybe the whole office. Why don't you all go to Hula Hands, my favorite restaurant, a great Orlando tradition where they make just about everything they sell from scratch. The prices are great, the service is terrific, the atmosphere is warm and inviting, and it's unique in all 4 local Hula Hands restaurants. Very, very special place. Huge menu for every taste and for every price range, and a fabulous new menu at Hula Hands of 30 items for starting at $3 a pop. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You're going to love it. Lunch today, dinner tonight at Hula Hands. Learn more online at hulahands.com. And when you drop by Hula Hands, you give them the Budman's best. They are great folks, and it's a great restaurant. It's Hula Hands. Let's hear Obama right now as he coughs up the birth certificate long form yesterday.
I know that there's going to be a segment of people for which, no matter what we put out, this issue will not be put to rest. But I'm speaking to the vast majority of the American people, as well as to the press. We do not have time for this kind of silliness. We got better stuff to do. I've got better stuff to do.
And with that, he left to tape an Oprah Winfrey show and do a couple of fundraisers. That's interesting. Oh, is the president suggesting that some of us aren't going to buy it? Maybe because it's just kind of like a racist thing? Well, he won't say that, but Whoopi will. You'll hear her right after our final check of real-time traffic and weather together on the 2s, and then back to the phones with you at 8:52. We're looking at sunshine giving way to clouds, showers, and maybe a few severe thunderstorms later on today as the front comes down here. We're looking at 92 for the high 70s already on a really kind of warm, humid, but otherwise beautiful morning. Whoopi Goldberg had a meltdown about all this opposition to President Obama, the birth certificate, and things in general. Yep, if you don't buy what Barack is selling, it's racism. Whoopi?
I'm getting tired of trying to find reasons not to think of stuff as being slightly racist.
Exactly.
It is very difficult on a daily basis to see this stuff and not just say, you know, this is what it is. But I have been raised to think, okay, well, maybe that's not what they mean. Maybe let me figure it out. But I have to say, I'm really, well, I do think again. But, you know, being black, when you say, you know, this is racist, 9,000 people say, oh, no, you're just playing the race card. Well, you know, I'm playing the damn card now.
Okay, Whoopi, no surprise there. Anybody opposed to this president, anybody who has an issue with the birth certificate, whatever it happens to be, it can't be the policies and what he's doing to this country. It can't be our concern about being faithful to the Constitution and the requirements for somebody to hold the highest office in the land. It's all got to be racism. So, why did he wait so long? Why did he release it now? He released it now because Trump was putting pressure on him and because his poll numbers are suffering and tanking. There's no doubt about that. He waited so long because he wanted to marginalize opposition and make everybody sound like a bunch of right-wing loons who questioned his place of birth. Jill is listening to the Budman from Orlando. What do you think, Jill?
Well, hi, Bud. Once again, going back to that caller, Mario, who is a Obama lover, it just goes to prove that they're only listening to what they want to hear, and they have to refer back to Bush, which is not even an issue anymore. And as far as what he released, as far as that birth certificate, I don't even believe it, because anything can be made up when you're the president. So after all this time, why didn't he do it when he was running for president? Why didn't he do it when he got elected? All those issues, and now because Trump leans on him, he's got to produce it now after all this time. I don't believe it, no matter what you say. And as far as Whoopi having the meltdown, shame on her for going there on playing the race card. That only shows how shallow they are.
Thank you, Jill, very much. 407-916-54. If you want to get in on this, I got a line open for you. Toll free to it. 1-866-916-5400. Time's getting tight. 8:55 to Leesburg and Lake County. Here's Lori on the line. Good morning, Lori.
Hi, Bud. Long-time listener.
Love it.
I want to let you know, I don't think we should apologize for asking for his birth certificate. I think it's our God-given right to know that what our president has and hasn't done. I mean, he's a ruler of our country. I think we should know everything about him.
Well, I thank you very much, Lori, and I totally agree with that. Now, what's interesting, though, is those who say, we're asking for too much here, a short form certificate of live birth is enough, generally speaking, in this country. Get your driver's license, whatever else it is, not that long form thing. And the Obama administration simply feels that there are people who are leaning on this president in a way they would not anybody else, because they're looking for anything to get him out of office. And it's because they believe they don't want a black man running the show. Okay? Now that we've seen how he runs the show, race has nothing to do with it for any thinking American. It's the policies and the ideology of this man and his complete lack of qualifications for the highest office in the land. And we see the ruin of that in decisions made every single day. Jackson Claremont on BHL. That's how I see it. It's 8:57. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, but thanks for taking my call. Quickly,
Sure.
It's not only Trump that's against the birth certificate. Chris Matthews was very much trying to get the birth certificate shown, too. And also, prior to the election, there was no racism because he got elected by a large majority of white voters. Nothing started to happen regarding our opinion toward Mr. Obama until he started to impose his much unwanted policies onto the country, and that's my belief.
All right, Jack, thanks a lot. Appreciate hearing from you. And to Winter Haven in Polk County, here's Peter with the Budman. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Budman. I just wanted to comment on this. I mean, I've read and heard from other talk shows that when he was born, they didn't issue a long form we call birth certificate, and no one's even brought this up. I mean, don't you think that the president of the United States could just make things appear?
Well, it's interesting. He says he got in touch with the folks out in Hawaii. He says enough of this. It's a distraction, etc. Of course, his poll numbers are tanking off of this. Trump was really pounding him, and he got special dispensation to have this released. And I am getting hammered with emails from people who are saying this is a phony, this is a fake. And those are the people, are they not, that Barack Obama says there's a certain segment who are never going to buy any of this. People are telling me this is Photoshop, this is faked, and I don't know where we go from there for those folks.
They manufactured a birth certificate for him in Hawaii. That's what it boils down to.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. I don't know whether that is true. But I have to tell you this. You're not going to impeach and convict this president when you got a Democrat-controlled Senate. Wait to vote him out in 2012. If you think this issue can ever be resolved in such a way that it cost Barack Obama the presidency, I think you're wrong. Jeff?
Yeah, and real quickly, too, aren't we not just playing into the hands of what he's saying and the whole political strategy of doing this? It comes down to it. If you're a birther, you're not a birther. This isn't going to change it, because if you're a birther, you just said it's a fake. There's no changing it for you. So let's stick to the things that they can't defend, which is the policies and the way this country is headed. That is the thing that you can't mess with, because you're right. You're not going to get him thrown out of office over this. You're not going to get him impeached. Let's keep our eye on the ball here and not try to play games that they want us to play games.
Yeah. And what you need to do is drop by a polling place in early November of 2012. Exercise your franchise and vote. This never was and is not going to get Barack Obama removed from the presidency. It's not going to happen. Okay? Not saying whether it should or not, but it's not going to happen. Just, that's just not going to be. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll look for you then. Thanks. God bless you, and God bless America. All right, now I'm going to do the promo for you first here, okay? And the Budman here, and I hope you join me Friday morning starting at 6. The royal wedding begins as our show begins, and we'll talk about it and why, if I were a Brit, I'd want the whole monarchy tossed into the Thames. At 6:35, our daily Wall Street Journal report. At 7, the shuttle launch is exciting, but I'm going to tell you why it's making the Budman sad and angry, too. And at 8, should doctors be forced to post their prices?